Let me ask you something. Have you ever stood up too quickly and felt a slight wobble in your knees or a hesitation in your step that wasn't there 10 years ago? That small moment, that fleeting sense of imbalance, might seem trivial, but in the eyes of modern science and aging research, it is a whisper from your body asking for help. You see, one of the most powerful predictors of how well and how long we live after 60 is not found in your cholesterol numbers or blood pressure readings. It's found in your legs. This may sound surprising. After all, when we think about aging, we often focus on the brain, the heart, or maybe our joints. Rarely do we pause to think about the sheer importance of leg strength. But research from the British Medical Journal and decades of longitudinal studies reveal something remarkable. Strong legs are more than just tools for mobility. They're the very foundation of your independence, your resilience, and even your cognitive clarity. When we talk about leg strength, we are really talking about your entire body's vitality. The ability to walk confidently, to climb stairs without holding onto the railing, to rise from a chair without pushing off with your hands. These are not just physical feats. They are reflections of your internal health. They speak to your neuromuscular coordination, your metabolic stability, your bone density, and yes, even your emotional state. As we pass the milestone of 60, our bodies begin to change in subtle yet significant ways. Muscle mass starts to decline in a process called sarcopenia. Balance becomes less reliable. And that drop in stability leads to a cascade of risks. Falls become more common. Recovery from injuries slows. Activities we once did without thinking now require planning and caution. But here is the powerful truth. These changes are not inevitable. They are not irreversible. In fact, they can be dramatically slowed, even reversed, with a focused approach to leg strength and muscular coordination. And that is why this conversation matters. The connection between leg strength and brain health is particularly profound. Scientists have discovered that the same motor neurons responsible for activating your leg muscles are also deeply tied to your nervous system's integrity. When your legs weaken, it is not just a sign of aging. It is a signal that your neural pathways are under strain. A strong lower body supports faster reflexes, better balance, and sharper cognition. Studies from the Journal of Gerontology show that those with stronger quadriceps have quicker mental processing, better memory retention, and significantly lower risk of cognitive decline. Think about that for a moment. Strong legs mean a sharper mind. That's not poetic language. That's neuroscience. And for someone over 60, that insight changes everything. There's another layer to this story. Your legs are some of the largest muscles in your body. When they are active and strong, they regulate blood sugar, support cardiovascular function, and reduce systemic inflammation. This means that by focusing on building and maintaining leg strength, you are not just protecting your ability to move, you are protecting your heart, your metabolism, and your immune system. Let me share something that I have seen again and again in people in their 70s and beyond. Those who commit to small but consistent leg exercises, who stay aware of their balance and strength, often live with more freedom. They travel without fear. They walk without needing help. They feel more grounded, not just physically, but emotionally. Because here is something we rarely talk about. Weak legs lead to fear. Fear of falling. Fear of losing independence. And fear, when it settles into the body, affects everything. It makes us withdraw. It makes us hesitate. It makes us older, faster. That is why this first part of our exploration is not just scientific. It is deeply personal. It is about reclaiming a sense of trust in your body. It is about remembering that your legs are not just limbs. They are your link to the world. They carry your stories, your laughter, your steps forward. And no matter your age, they deserve your attention and care. So as we continue into this series and start looking at the specific nutrients that fuel leg strength, I want you to remember this. Building stronger legs is not about vanity. It is about freedom. It is about resilience. It is about staying fully alive. There is a common belief that vitamin D is mainly about bone health. And while that's not wrong, it is far from the whole story. In fact, vitamin D3 plays a role so deep, so essential, that many of the symptoms people attribute to aging are actually signals of this silent deficiency. Weak legs, poor balance, slower reflexes, even feelings of anxiety or fatigue. They often trace back to low levels of this hormone. Yes, I said hormone, because that is what vitamin D3 truly is. It is not just a vitamin in your multivitamin bottle. It acts like a hormone, directly affecting how your muscles contract and how your nervous system communicates. And after the age of 60, this hormone becomes even more critical. Let me ask you something. Have you noticed that your reactions are slower? That your balance feels just a little less certain when stepping off a curb or standing up from a chair? That is not just aging. That is your brain's signal not reaching your muscles in time. And one of the most important factors behind that delayed signal is vitamin D3. You see, inside your muscles are fast twitch fibers. These are the ones responsible for quick movements, for catching your balance, for preventing a fall. These fibers are packed with vitamin D receptors. When D3 is plentiful, these receptors help regulate calcium inside the cells, triggering sharp, quick contractions. But when D3 is low, those same fibers weaken. The signal gets fuzzy. Your legs feel slower. You feel more vulnerable. Now, consider this. A study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that older adults with low vitamin D levels had twice the risk of falling. Not a little more. Twice. Another randomized trial showed that even moderate supplementation, between 800 to 1,000 international units per day, reduced falls by nearly 20%. That is not a small shift. That is the difference between walking with confidence and living in fear. But here's the key. It is not just about taking vitamin D. It is about how and when you take it. Vitamin D3 is fat-soluble. That means it needs fat in your meal to be absorbed properly. If you take it with only water or a dry breakfast, your body might waste most of it. But take it with eggs, a little olive oil, or avocado, and absorption improves dramatically. In fact, some studies show a 30% increase in absorption when taken with a fatty meal. Even more important, take it in the morning. Why? Because vitamin D influences your internal clock, your circadian rhythm. If taken too late in the day, it can suppress melatonin and interfere with your sleep. So the best window for D3 is early, with a real meal, ideally one that includes healthy fat. Now let's talk about dosage. Many people over 60 are deficient even if they spend time in the sun. That is because aging skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D. Add sunscreen or cloudy climates, and the problem multiplies. A simple blood test called 25-hydroxyvitamin D can tell you your level. Most experts recommend aiming for levels between 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. If you are far below that, a supervised protocol is essential. For many seniors, this means taking between 1,000 to 2,000 international units daily, but this must be adjusted based on your individual needs. Let me give you something practical. Take your D3 with breakfast. Include a small portion of healthy fat. Get your levels checked every few months. And do not assume that just because you feel okay, your levels are fine. Vitamin D deficiency is often silent until it begins to affect movement, mood, and balance. There is one more layer to this story. When vitamin D3 levels are optimized, not only do your muscles work better, your brain does too. Because neuromuscular signaling, the process where your brain tells your muscles to move, is completely dependent on vitamin D. Without it, those messages get delayed. With it, your body becomes sharp again, responsive, strong, I often tell people this. If you want to feel younger, start with your legs. And if you want your legs to be strong, start with vitamin D3. It is not flashy, it is not trendy, but it is the quiet force that turns on your entire neuromuscular system. So before you buy that expensive piece of equipment or chase the latest workout trend, ask yourself this: am I giving my body the hormone it needs to respond? Am I restoring the signal between my brain and my muscles? Because if not, no amount of training will stick. You need the foundation. And that foundation begins with D3. Let me paint you a picture. You are standing in your kitchen, about to take a step back, and for a split second, your leg hesitates. It is not pain, it is not stiffness. It is like your brain had to remind your foot to move. That tiny delay, almost unnoticeable, is not just about getting older. It is a sign that the electrical wiring between your mind and your muscle might be wearing thin. And one of the most important nutrients keeping that connection strong is vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is not about building muscle. It is about communication. It is about how your nervous system carries messages from your brain to your limbs, especially the large muscles in your legs. Every time you move, every step you take, relies on clean, fast, precise signals traveling along your nerves. Those nerves are wrapped in a protective coating called the myelin sheath. Think of it like the insulation on an electrical wire. Without it, signals get lost, movement slows, balance falters. And here is the thing: vitamin B12 is essential for maintaining that myelin sheath. When B12 is low, the insulation begins to fray. Your nervous system does not shut down, but it becomes inefficient, sluggish. You might feel tingling in your feet, numbness, or just that sense of not feeling fully in control of your legs. That is not just in your head. That is your body trying to work around a broken communication line. In people over 60, this becomes even more urgent. Our ability to absorb B12 from food declines with age. The stomach acid and intrinsic factor needed to extract B12 from food like meat, fish, or eggs become less efficient. And if you are taking medications like metformin for diabetes or proton pump inhibitors for heartburn, the absorption drops even further. So you could be eating all the right foods and still be deficient. Now here is the science. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults with low B12 walked more slowly and had worse motor control than those with healthy levels. Another review from Frontiers in Neurology showed that even mild B12 deficiency, the kind that does not yet show up as anemia, can impair balance and coordination. So what can you do about it? First, consider using a sublingual B12 supplement. These dissolve under your tongue and bypass the digestive system, delivering the vitamin directly into your bloodstream. This is especially useful for older adults who may have trouble absorbing B12 through food or pills. Second, look for the methylcobalamin form of B12. This is the bioactive version, meaning your body does not need to convert it. It is ready to go, immediately usable by your brain and nerves. Typical dosages vary, but many older adults benefit from 500 to 1,000 micrograms per day, especially if they are already showing signs of deficiency. What are those signs? Aside from numbness and tingling, watch for fatigue, mood changes, and difficulty with balance. Blood levels below 400 picograms per milliliter can impair nerve function, even if you do not feel anything dramatic yet. Let me ask you, have you ever felt like your feet were not fully under your control? Like your legs responded, but with a delay? That is not just aging. That is your nervous system running on low signal. And vitamin B12 is the power source that restores that connection. There is something powerful that happens when you combine B12 with vitamin D3. D3 acts like the switchboard, helping your muscles respond. B12 acts like the wiring, making sure the signal gets through. Together, they do not just strengthen your body. They rebuild the communication between your brain and your legs. And that kind of connection brings back confidence, speed, and grace in your movements. I have seen it time and again. Someone in their 70s or 80s begins to supplement with B12 correctly, and within weeks, they walk more smoothly. They climb stairs without hesitation. They even speak with more energy. Why? Because the nervous system is no longer running on delay. It is finally catching up to the rest of the body. So before you write off your balance problems as aging, consider this. It might just be a matter of nutrition, of giving your body what it needs to send clear signals. And B12, though small in size, has a massive role in keeping you sharp, steady, and in control. Imagine this. You finish a walk around your block. Nothing intense, just a stroll. But later that evening, your legs feel tight, maybe a little crampy, and by morning, the soreness lingers longer than it used to. You chalk it up to aging. But your body may be trying to tell you something deeper. It may be running low on a mineral that is quietly responsible for everything from muscle relaxation to cellular repair. That mineral is magnesium. Magnesium is one of the most overlooked yet critical elements in the conversation about aging, strength, and recovery. It is not a trendy supplement. It does not promise overnight transformations. But without it, your muscles struggle to relax, your energy systems slow down, and your ability to bounce back diminishes. Let's break it down. Every time your muscles contract, they use energy in the form of a molecule called ATP. But here is what most people do not realize. ATP is not biologically active unless it is bound to magnesium. Without magnesium, ATP is like a key without a lock. It has no way to activate your muscles or power recovery. And the older we get, the more critical this becomes. Magnesium also helps regulate calcium within your muscle cells. After a muscle contracts, magnesium steps in to push the calcium back out, allowing the muscle to relax. Without enough magnesium, your muscles can stay partially tense, leading to cramps, stiffness, and that persistent soreness that lingers long after activity. Studies confirm this. Research published in Nutrients in 2020 showed that seniors with higher magnesium levels had better grip strength, walking speed, and overall physical performance. Another study from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that magnesium supplementation reduced fall risk and improved muscle function, especially in those participating in light exercise or mobility training. But here is where magnesium stands apart. It is not just a performance mineral. It is a recovery mineral. It supports sleep by calming the nervous system. It helps reduce systemic inflammation, which is a major driver of age-related muscle loss. And it improves insulin sensitivity, supporting better blood sugar control, which in turn protects your muscles from breakdown. Now, let's talk about forms. Not all magnesium supplements are created equal. Magnesium oxide, often found in cheap brands, is poorly absorbed and can cause digestive issues. Instead, look for magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate. These forms are more bioavailable, meaning your body can actually use them. They are also gentler on the stomach and better suited for daily use, especially in older adults. Timing matters too. Because magnesium supports relaxation and sleep, the best time to take it is in the evening, 1 to 2 hours before bed. This timing allows it to not only fuel overnight muscle recovery, but also enhance sleep quality, which itself is a cornerstone of physical restoration. How much do you need? Most experts recommend between 250 to 400 milligrams per day for older adults. But just like with any supplement, start low and increase gradually. And if you are on medications for blood pressure or kidney conditions, always talk to your doctor first. Magnesium can interact with certain prescriptions. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like your legs are slower to recover than they used to be? That simple walks leave you more sore? That your sleep feels lighter or less restorative? Those are not just age talking. Those are signals. And magnesium may be the missing piece your body is calling for. When paired with vitamin D3 and B12, magnesium completes what I call the strength cycle. D3 activates the muscle response. B12 wires the nervous system. Magnesium handles the cleanup and recovery. Together, they create a rhythm where your body does not just move, it regenerates. That is how you maintain leg strength over time, not just by working harder, but by recovering smarter. There is something deeply reassuring about this truth, that recovery is not out of reach. That feeling sore or slow does not have to be your new normal. That with the right support, your muscles can feel alive again, responsive, resilient. So tonight, consider this. Before bed, instead of reaching for a sleeping pill or pushing through another restless night, try a gentle dose of magnesium. Let it do what your body was designed to do: heal, rebuild, and wake up stronger. You might be wondering, if vitamin D3, B12, and magnesium each play such vital roles, what happens when you take them together? Can they work in harmony, or could they cancel each other out? The answer lies in understanding your body's rhythms. Because even the right nutrients, when taken at the wrong time or in the wrong way, can lose their impact. But when timed correctly, they become a powerful trio, amplifying each other's effects and creating lasting change. Let's start with vitamin D3. As we have discussed, D3 is fat-soluble. This means it requires dietary fat for proper absorption. But it also plays a role in regulating your circadian rhythm, your internal body clock. Studies show that taking D3 in the morning or at midday, along with a meal that includes healthy fats, significantly improves absorption. Not only that, but it supports your natural energy patterns. Taken too late in the day, D3 can interfere with melatonin production, making it harder to fall asleep at night. So here's your first move. Take D3 early, preferably with breakfast. Include some healthy fat, like avocado, nuts, or eggs, to help your body absorb it effectively. This starts your day with neuromuscular activation, priming your body to respond quickly and move confidently. Now let's add B12 to the mix. Vitamin B12 is water-soluble and acts more like a spark plug for your nervous system. It supports mental clarity, alertness, and motor control. Because of this, B12 is also best taken in the morning. Many people feel more awake, more steady on their feet, and mentally sharper when B12 is taken shortly after waking. But here is a critical detail. Do not take B12 and magnesium together. Why? Because magnesium has a calming effect on the nervous system, while B12 stimulates it. Taking both at the same time can create internal conflict, like pressing the gas and the brake at once. You won't go anywhere fast. That brings us to magnesium. This is your evening mineral. It supports muscle relaxation, recovery, and deep sleep. When taken 1 to 2 hours before bed, magnesium helps regulate the parasympathetic nervous system. It promotes GABA activity in the brain, which is essential for quality rest. And as we discussed earlier, better sleep means better muscle repair, better balance, and stronger legs over time. So here is your optimal daily rhythm. In the morning, take D3 with breakfast and a source of fat. Take B12 at the same time or shortly after, preferably in a sublingual form that bypasses digestion. This combination supports energy, coordination, and clarity throughout the day. In the evening, take magnesium after dinner or just before bed. This allows your body to shift into recovery mode, enhancing both muscular and neural repair while you sleep. This rhythm respects your body's natural flow. It aligns activation with waking hours and restoration with nighttime. And over time, it creates consistency, a pattern your body can rely on. And that consistency is what turns small changes into powerful transformations. Now, let me be clear. Taking all three at once with your morning coffee might seem easier, but that habit could limit how much your body actually uses each nutrient. Timing matters. Absorption matters. And honoring these details means you are not just taking supplements. You are giving your body exactly what it needs, when it needs it. Have you ever taken your vitamins faithfully but felt little difference? It might not be the nutrients themselves. It might be the delivery. Think of it like planting seeds. If you plant them in dry soil, at the wrong season, without sunlight, they may never grow. But plant them with care, at the right time, with the right support, and they flourish. So take this insight and apply it to your daily life. Build a supplement routine that matches your biology, and watch what happens. You will move easier, stand taller, sleep deeper. You will feel more like yourself again, because this is not just about vitamins. It is about creating a life rhythm that supports strength, balance, and energy long after 60. When most people think about muscle strength, they picture weights, resistance bands, or maybe long walks. But very few ever think about what is happening deep inside their muscle cells. At the core of every movement, every step, every lift, is something small, powerful, and often forgotten: the mitochondria. Mitochondria are the power plants inside your muscle fibers. They are where your body transforms nutrients into usable energy. Without them, your muscles cannot contract effectively. They cannot recover. They fatigue faster. And over time, they weaken. So if you want to stay strong after 60, you must go beyond the surface and focus on the energy engine itself. Here's what happens as we age. After 60, mitochondrial function naturally begins to decline. That means your muscles make less energy, and they do it more slowly. This leads to earlier fatigue, slower recovery, and a greater chance of injury. But the good news is this: mitochondria are highly responsive. They can be strengthened, multiplied, and made more efficient, even in your 70s or 80s. Let's go deeper. Vitamin D3, which we have already explored for its role in neuromuscular signaling, also plays a direct role in mitochondrial health. D3 receptors are found not just in your bones and muscles, but on the mitochondria themselves. When D3 levels are optimal, studies show it can reduce oxidative stress, improve mitochondrial efficiency, and enhance the production of ATP, the energy currency of your body. Then comes vitamin B12. This nutrient is essential for converting carbohydrates into usable energy. Without enough B12, your mitochondria slow down and your muscles begin to feel heavy and tired. This is why B12 deficiency can mimic chronic fatigue or neuropathy. The energy is there, but your body cannot unlock it. Magnesium is the final piece. Every single molecule of ATP must bind with magnesium to become active. Without it, even the energy your body produces cannot be used by your muscles. So, magnesium does not just support recovery, it makes energy usable. Let me give you a visual. Picture your mitochondria as a team of engine builders. Vitamin D3 gives them the instruction manual. B12 provides the wiring and electrical system. Magnesium is the oil that keeps everything running smoothly. Remove any one of them, and the engine sputters. Now, how do you support your mitochondria beyond supplements? Movement. Yes, simple, consistent movement actually stimulates your cells to produce more mitochondria. A brisk walk in the morning, especially after taking your D3 and B12, activates what scientists call mitochondrial biogenesis. That means your body starts building more power plants, giving you more strength, more endurance, and better recovery. This is why timing matters so much. By aligning your supplements with gentle movement, you create a feedback loop. Nutrients fuel energy production. Movement signals your body to build more energy capacity, and over time, your muscles feel more alive. Have you noticed that your legs start strong but tire quickly? That you feel good at the start of a walk but fade before the finish? That is not just aging. That is your mitochondria underperforming. And it can be changed. You do not need to lift heavy weights or run marathons. What your mitochondria need is consistency, regular stimulation, proper nutrients, and rest. These simple inputs, done daily, rebuild the very foundation of your strength. Let me ask you this. What would your days look like if your energy lasted longer? If you could walk further, climb stairs without hesitation, or play with your grandkids without needing to sit down? That kind of vitality starts on a cellular level, and the mitochondria are where it begins. So today, as you take your D3 and B12 in the morning, go for a short walk, 10 minutes. That is all it takes. You are not just getting fresh air. You are telling your body, I need more power. And your mitochondria will listen. With the right support, even the smallest parts of your body can make a massive difference. And over time, that energy builds into something bigger. Strength, confidence, freedom. We have covered the science. We have explored the nutrients. We have looked deep into your muscles, your nerves, even your mitochondria. But knowledge alone is not transformation. The question is this: how do you take everything we have talked about and turn it into something real, something you can feel in your legs, in your energy, in your confidence? The answer is rhythm. Your body does not need a dramatic overhaul. It needs consistency, a gentle, predictable pattern that tells your brain, your muscles, and your cells what to expect and when to expect it. When you create that rhythm, you create stability. And when you repeat that rhythm, you build strength. So here is what that rhythm looks like. A day not filled with strain or perfection, but with small, powerful actions that compound over time. In the morning, you start with water. Rehydration wakes up your cells. Then you move. Nothing extreme. Just 5 to 10 minutes of walking, stretching, or light balance work. This early movement does two things. It activates your muscles and signals your mitochondria to get to work. Then, with your first solid meal, you take your vitamin D3 and B12. You include a bit of fat, avocado, eggs, nuts, or olive oil to help your body absorb the D3. You let the B12 sharpen your mind and strengthen your neuromuscular pathways. This is your activation phase. You are not just feeding your body, you are turning it on. Midday, you stay gently active. Maybe you break long sitting sessions with short walks or household movement. You include a source of protein at lunch, ideally 20 to 30 grams. This supports muscle repair, especially important after 60, when your body becomes more resistant to growth signals. This is your support phase. You keep the system engaged, but without stress. In the evening, you slow down. You prepare your body for repair. 1 to 2 hours before bed, you take your magnesium. You let it ease your muscles, calm your nervous system, and support deeper sleep. You turn off screens early. Maybe you read, or breathe, or simply sit in silence. This is your recovery phase. You are not just sleeping, you are rebuilding. What happens when you do this for a week, then 2, then a month? The changes are subtle at first. Your legs feel steadier. You catch yourself standing taller. You finish your walk with more energy. But the most powerful change is the one no one sees. You begin to feel safe in your body again. That feeling of trust, of resilience, of readiness, that is what strength truly means after 60. Let me ask you something. How would your life be different if you did not have to fear a fall? If you could rise from a chair with ease? If you knew that your legs would hold you no matter where you walked? That is not a dream. That is a rhythm. And it is entirely within your reach. This is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent, about creating a structure your body can depend on, a rhythm that aligns with your biology, not fights against it. And it only takes 15 minutes a day. A few focus steps, a few small shifts, and over time, they build a foundation strong enough to carry the rest of your life. So start with one morning walk, one proper supplement with breakfast, one magnesium capsule before bed. Let that one habit remind you of what is possible. Let it anchor you to a new path. Because the truth is this: your body is always listening. It responds to every choice, every routine, every message you send. And when you send the message of care, of strength, of intention, your body responds with energy, balance, and freedom. You are not too old. You are not too late. Your legs, your mind, your energy, they are waiting. And this rhythm is your invitation to begin again.